Building wealth is easier than many people think that it is. I often say that it's a slow process, especially in the beginning when you have little to no money to get started. I really believe that this is the main reason why most people fail to even get started down the path to building wealth. Because anywhere we go on social media today, we see people talking about how easy it is to get rich in 60 days, get rich in 90 days, or whatever get rich quick scheme that they're trying to sell to you at that particular time. But I realized over the years that there are a few simple things that you can implement into your daily life that can actually make building wealth a little bit easier. But of course, you have to put in the work to get to actually where you want to be, but it's a lot simpler than I think many people realize. So in today's video, I'm going to be going over 5 things that you can implement today that can help get you down the path to building wealth. Tip number 1 is create a budget. I remember when I first started taking my financial future seriously, and one of the questions that I asked myself as I started to create my very first budget was, where does all my money go every single month? I was making a decent salary at that time, but at the end of every single month, it seemed like I was running out of money and I didn't know where it was going. So when I put my very first budget together, I was surprised because I was making more than enough money to actually pay my monthly expenses. But for some reason, I didn't know where my money was going until I put that budget together. And once I did that, I was able to say, okay, I'm gonna watch this for 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, just to kind of see what are my spending habits and where's everything going. But I quickly realized if I had a budget in place, not only could I pay my monthly bills, but I could pay off these credit cards. I had a lot of credit card debt in my mid to late 20s that I wasn't able to get out of until I actually put a budget together that I was able to follow. Once I did that, getting out of debt became a lot easier because I had a lot more money to put towards that debt. So one of the very first things that I always suggest that people do when they start to get serious about their financial futures and their financial situations is sit down and create a budget. And the very first budget that I put together was based off of the 75-15 model. And what essentially that is 75% of all of my take-home pay was allocated towards my needs, 15% was allocated toward my wants, such as going out to eat or buying clothes, and 10% was allocated to investing. And essentially what I did is I used that 10% to pay down my debt. And I followed that model for a while because it worked well for me. And it was easy to implement, and it didn't really change my lifestyle too much, which is why I think I was able to stick with it. So if you've never actually created a budget that you followed before, my suggestion would be to start off with the 75-15-10 model because it's easy to implement with very little change to your current lifestyle. And as you continue to find additional ways to save money, you can just make updates to your budget along the way. Tip number 2 is learning how to invest. And when I say learning how to invest, I'm not saying understanding charts and all of the different terminology that people that invest on a daily basis actually use and follow. I'm not talking about going that deep. I'm talking about getting a general understanding of how to invest in the stock market because that is a way to help you win financially. And I remember when I first started taking a look at the stock market and I was asking questions about it, I had so many people tell me, oh, don't invest in the stock market. You're going to lose money. Hey, investing in the stock market is like going to the casino. You're going to lose everything. And I'm not going to lie, that did kind of discourage me a little bit. But the more that I learned how to invest, and more importantly, invest passively by investing in index funds and ETFs where I didn't have to pick individual stocks, I was sold. Having the ability to invest in hundreds of stocks every single month that will help me to grow my net worth, all while not having to select individual stocks, was the cheat code. It was the wealth cheat code because I didn't want to learn about stocks at that point in time. I just wanted to learn how to invest and how to actually build out my net worth. And being able to invest passively was the way for me to do that. If you're looking to learn how to passively invest in the stock market to help you grow your net worth, make sure you check out my $5 a day and my $10 a day investment series right here on this channel. Tip number 3 is automating the investment process. So once you have a solid budget in place and you've learned how to passively invest in the stock market, now it's time to put it on easy mode by simply automating the process. One of the biggest reasons that we fail to build wealth is we're not consistent in our process. And that's why I think 401ks work more often than they don't, because there's a set amount that's being withheld from your paycheck before it even hits your account. So you're already accounting for this reduction in how much you're getting paid because it's automatically taken out before it even hits your account. Setting up your investment account the same way will have similar results. So what you're gonna do is you are going to schedule X amount of dollars to go from your paycheck every time you get paid into your investment account. And then you're gonna go into your investment account and you're gonna have your account automatically purchase the index fund or ETF of your choice on a particular day for that amount of money. Now, every time you get paid, it's going to automatically be transferred from your checking account into your investment account, and your investment account will automatically purchase that investment, and it completely takes you out of the process. And since we created our budget and we accounted for that money going into an investment account, it's already accounted for. We don't have to worry about it. We've invested, we've checked that box, it's going into that account, and we're gonna leave it in there, and we're gonna allow compound interest to grow that account over time. This is the exact process that I'm following on a brand new account that I opened right here on this channel, where I'm investing money in 3 different index funds every single day. And I'm doing this over a long period of time to show how easy it is to invest in the stock market and how easy it is to actually start building wealth. If you haven't had an opportunity to review any of my daily investment videos, I'll be sure to leave a link down in the description below, so make sure you head over and you check those out. Tip number 4 is avoiding lifestyle creep. Now, we all know someone, or maybe we are this person, right? Where we say, man, if only I made $20,000 more a year, I'd be fine. You know, I make $50,000 a year now. If I was able to make $65,000 a year, everything would be fine. Now, when we say that, or we hear someone say that, it sounds logical, right? But when we get that new job or we get that raise that pays us more money, we ultimately end up in the same situation that we're currently in today. See, I've come to the conclusion that most of us don't have an income problem. We have a spending problem. And it doesn't matter how much money that you make on a yearly basis. It matters how much you keep and how much you invest. Because I know people that make in excess of 6 figures, but they're living paycheck to paycheck. And I also know people that are making $50,000 to $60,000 that are able to invest and they live a good life and they're not living paycheck to paycheck. I've seen both ends of this. It's often not that income problem, it's a spending problem. And when we make more money, we want to go out and we want to buy nicer things. We want to buy nicer cars. We want to buy nicer clothes when we really don't have to. So one thing that you have to challenge yourself to do, if you get a new job or you get a raise where you're making more money, do not increase your standard of living. So if you're working in a job that's making $50,000 a year now, and you got a raise or you got a new job and now you're making $70,000 a year, live like you're making $50,000 a year. Don't live like you're making $70,000 a year. And that's one of the biggest problems that I see, right? I know that some people may say, well, you don't know what it's like to live on $50,000. $50,000 a year is not enough money. And I'm not going to sit here and argue with you and say that it is, because it's all relative. But what I do know is no matter where I'm at financially, how much money I'm making, I'm going to make an effort to live below my means, because that's the only way that we can actually start building wealth. So there's different components to this. We can't go out, live above our means, not focus on reducing debt and investing and expect to build wealth. That's what we've traditionally done. If you want to start building wealth, you have to actually start doing the opposite of what most people are doing. It's just a fact. And tip number 5 is continuing to learn and be open to change. See, when I first started investing in the stock market, I was purely focused on index funds and ETFs. And to be quite honest with you, that's about 90% of my focus today. But since that time, right, I now have an investment mindset. I want to invest in real estate. I like looking at crypto. I like looking at some individual stocks. And I also have thought about starting a business. So as you get started down the path of investing and building wealth, be open to different possibilities and different avenues that can actually help to expand your net worth. Because we don't want to get tunnel vision and, for example, say, you know what, you may not like crypto, that's completely fine. But you don't have to stay invested in just in the stock market. You can invest in real estate, right? You can invest in low-cost mutual funds if that's your thing. I never recommend them, but if that's something that you want to look into, then that's perfectly fine. The great thing about investing is that you get to pick what you like and what you don't like. So there's no one size fits all. There's enough investment opportunities out there for you to win. And to be honest with you, the 5 things that I mentioned in today's video are things that you can easily implement that can help change your life in the future. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.